Hi everyone, it's Sunday, April 10th, time for another HideNet Week in Review. I'm Vera Dordick. So it was another tough week to be a Hide seller, and as one person put it, the market is slowly leaking air and there's just not enough serious demand to keep prices steady. And while they were referring to the U.S. market, it's a pretty universal description. Heavy Texas steer prices were reported this week down by a few dollars, and 62.64 pounds sold for $25. Now, the dip might seem dramatic, but it's probably just catching up with the rumored low price sales of the past couple of weeks. In the cow sector, prices are definitely weak, although they are eroding at a slower pace than steers. Looking at the export figures for last week, sales rose. Combined export sales for the week ending March 31st were 538,600, and that's up 30% from the previous week. Combined shipments were again pretty good. They were down by just 1% at 674,200. Slaughter for the week was up by 6% to a whopping 676,000. Many people are hoping that stops going up so much and comes down a little bit. Turning to Europe, editor Andrea Guolo reports that prices were stable, and it seems that this situation will hold to the end of the month. And that's especially true with the Easter holiday next week, and places closed for at least Good Friday, if not more, and holiday Monday. In the UK this week, once again, prices were unchanged, with the English 36 plus ox at £1 10 cents in sterling, and the best lots were selling for 5 cents more. In Ireland, there may have been more interest, but the prices were still steady at €1 and 5 cents for the same weight bulls. Looking at European bulls, Andrea reports that here too, prices were confirmed and that sales actually did well last week. And the price of southern German bulls remains at €1 and 75 cents per kilo. Now for European cows, there were a few more sales last week, and he says that some were rather interesting. While at the same time, hides arriving from Eastern Europe are on the decline for some obvious reasons. In the veal sector, the market is still rigid, but among sheepskins, some prices are starting to fall, so that bears watching. In his analysis, Andrea discusses what's going on with prices and deliveries and how the tanneries are managing. He also dissects the situation in the automotive leather sector, so that is very interesting. In South America, editor Ronald Guiel says that raw material prices were relatively steady this week, and they lost just 1 cent, so the average price was $3 and 30 cents per kilo. And after dipping a couple of cents last week, TR1 was steady with a reference price of 93 cents per square foot. In other news from Brazil, the footwear sector has already generated 13,000 jobs in 2022. APLF generated more than 8.7 million in business for the Brazilian footwear components sector, and Minerva has signed an agreement to reduce greenhouse gases in Brazil. From elsewhere in Latin America, Argentina's government again increased controls on beef exports. Colombia's footwear exports were up nearly 16% already this year. And for Mexico, Australia has turned out to be the main destination for footwear outside of the American continent. Paraguay's March cattle slaughter for export fell by more than 36%. And in Uruguay, leather exports this year are up by double digits. So that's all we have for this week. Until next week, good night from HideNet.